Alicia Keys. When I was young, I learned the piano because I wanted to be like Alicia Keys. I know how to play the piano to this day because of her.
Did you get the zigzag braids too?
Oh,
What's good, y'all? Past the Rock, episode 13. How's it going? I'm here with a special guest, an elite athlete from Sienna, Dakota Jackson. How's it going today, man?
It's going good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate it. So, just to get things going, so volleyball. Why? What got you interested in volleyball? What made you want to?
Well, my mom started taking me to the local high school games and seeing the quote unquote big girls. Was like, oh my gosh, it was so fast. I was like, oh, that looks so fun. And she's put me into a YMCA co-ed league, and it went on from there.
Did you play any other sports growing up besides volleyball?
Yes, I ran track. I played basketball in middle school. Didn't really like that, but yeah.
Okay. So whenever you found that interest in volleyball, you started playing. At what point in time did you know that like this? I'm good at this, and I'm trying to go far with this.
The point in which I knew that I was good at volleyball is when we were at a tournament on a club team that I started with, like officially kind of seriously started playing with. And another club director came. She was like, you have a lot of potential. You're like, came with my parents and they told me, they're like, your daughter has a lot of potential. Like, we want her to come play at our club so we can help develop her. So that's when I was like, oh, well, maybe I am good at volleyball. It's not just because I am tall, but there might be something more to this.
That's what's up. I think everybody always has that point in time where they just realize like whatever it is that you're doing, you realize how good you are at it and like how far you want to go with it. Talk me through your high school experience on the volleyball team, playing your first time on varsity. How was that? Nerve-wracking or anything?
It wasn't, because I'd been playing at a high level for a really long time. So going in as a freshman, I know I hate to say it or sound cocky, but I knew I was going to be on varsity, like no ifs, ands, or buts. But I mean, I don't think it was that much of a difference. The main difference was getting to know the older girls and kind of figuring out that dynamic, because in middle school, we all basically the same age. We all in class together, blah, blah, blah. But you go from middle school to high school, and it's a completely different element, completely different environment. So that was probably the most challenging thing, is getting to know the upperclassmen and kind of meshing with them and what they had already going on with their program, their play style, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't sound cocky at all, because I mean, you were able to win a silver and a gold medal 2013 and 2014 in the USA, the national championship. So I mean, that's pretty good. That's like really good, if anything. So, talk to me about that experience, winning having those accomplishments. Like, what did it feel like in the moment and right now?
In the moment, it almost felt as though it was relaxing. It was like, we did it. Finally here, like through all the yelling, the bad, like, the off days, having to get back mentally right and stuff like that. You know how you have a few points, you're like, oh my gosh, stuck on the last play. But all of that came kind of full circle. You're like, wow, all what we've been through to get here doesn't even matter now, because we're here and we did it.
True. I mean, definitely with things like that, it's just very important to always cherish the moment. I feel like some people have those point in time, like some great moments in their life where they just kind of rush it during that time. And yeah, definitely like the road to being successful in anything is always tough. Like there's gonna be that time that you're just like, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore, or it's like I don't want to practice. And I know you can relate, like, because everybody, like, even the greatest players of all time, Michael Jordan had days that he didn't want to play basketball.
Oh,
But
goodness.
so it's
Yeah.
just,
And to answer your question of how it feels now, I'm grateful for those experiences because, again, not everybody gets to experience playing for the USA, like championships, stuff like that. So that was like, again, it was a great experience. It was humbling, and I'm glad that I got to experience that, especially with the group of girls that I did get to experience it with. And the crazy thing is, we're all still great friends to this day. So that makes it even better.
that's definitely what's up. So transitioning from high school to college, what influenced your decision to go to Siena?
Well, one, they offered me a full scholarship, everything paid for. So that was good. And what really influenced me is because, kind of like you mentioned, there are those days that you're like, do I want to do this anymore? Do I want to practice? And I had that time kind of between my junior and senior year, no, like sophomore, junior, because I committed my junior year. But there was a lot of stuff going on, but now that's helped me grow into who I am. But I went to Siena because at the time it was a blessing in answered prayers, because I was like, do I want to play volleyball anymore? Should I just go to college and be be a regular student? And then out of nowhere, he emailed one of the coaches at my club. He was like, hey, we like what we see. We want to get her up there for a visit. So I was like, okay, whatever. Obviously, a full ride was enticing, but I was like, I got to see how it is. But I went there. I liked what they were offering. Top business school. That's what really sold me. Small class sizes. And they've won 4 championships under the coach that recruited me. So I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. I think I want to commit here. I like the atmosphere. And obviously, at that time, like I did mention, it was like, okay, here, this is the Lord. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to go. Even though it's different all the way in New York, different climate, environment, culture, all that other stuff, you need to go there. So that's what influenced me to go to Siena.
And that definitely makes sense because I mean, obviously, at least from what I see, it looks like you made the right choice. Like even going right into your freshman year, you were, selected into the MAAC All Rookie, and also you led the team in kills per set and points per set. And just coming in as a freshman into that kind of environment where there's already other people like seniors and people who already have better experience than you on paper. How would you say that felt to you as a freshman?
For a while, I was like, yeah, da da da, I did that, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But kind of now looking back at it, I am a little disappointed that I didn't share those moments more with my teammates. Like, obviously, a middle on the team, she was a senior at the time who I got close with, Sam Pest. She was selected to that team as well. But no, well, not the rookie team, but she made one of the conference teams with me that year. But there was a lot going on. We had a big incoming freshman class, and I'm not gonna say that they weren't doing well, but in their respective positions, it was a lot going on, and then outside dynamics. But I was like, yeah, I feel good, and I didn't take the time to say, you know what? Even though individually, on paper, I'm excelling, it did take my teammates, whether or not they were on the court with me, to get me there. So that's how I kind of feel now. But in the moment, I felt like, yeah, I did that. I'm that chick. So it was exciting in the moment. But you grow, you learn.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little step away from volleyball and talk more about the university or the college itself.
Hmm.
Going there for your first time, like your first day, completely moving into campus and everything. Was it a big change from where you are, coming from Houston, Texas, or was it, not too hard for you to fit into?
Well, the timeline. I took my visit my junior year around April or May-ish, and in April and May it's beautiful in New York, and where Sienna is located is more upstate, the capital. So you see the trees, flowers, it's green, perfect temperature, pretty. And when I moved in my freshman year, obviously it went in the summer because of preseason, so it was hot, so I was used to that. It was humid, everybody's complaining, oh my god, whatever. It was still pretty. So at the moment, I was like, I can do this. It's like sleepaway camp because I was a Girl Scout up until my senior year. So it's like I've been to plenty of camps without my parents. I can do this. Obviously, it's college, a little different, but I was like, I can do this. But then snowed, it got cold, and I started meeting some people, and I'm like, woo, the culture is a little different. Obviously, the weather is different. So, but I mean, I handled it pretty well. You know, you have to adapt. That's how I was raised. You know, things aren't always going to be the way you want them to be or perfect. So you just gotta live and you gotta learn. You gotta get with the times, get with the program. So that's how my adjustment was. I wasn't afraid to move far away. I wanted to get out of Texas because obviously a lot of my friends like UT, Tech, Baylor, like staying within here, like either Southern, Louisiana, like LSU, stuff like that. Like, you know, obviously you can drive home. I can't drive home. I got to get on a flight. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and experience new things. So I was kind of excited and nervous, I guess.
Nah, definitely. The culture difference in the United States alone is pretty sick. Like you can go from the south to the north, and it's y'all talk completely different. Like y'all is not something that people say in like other
Not at
parts,
all.
in
Not
other
at
parts
all.
of. And like I found it pretty crazy because I mean it's different if you're talking about another country and you're asking certain outrageous questions. But I've heard people be like, "So y'all ride horses?" I've heard people actually say that, and I'm like, "Dude, Texas is not like. What do you think we are?"
No. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's like, if anything, no, because we live in Albany where Sienna is. It's like a small little quaint. It's like I don't know if you've seen a Hallmark movie, but it reminds me of a town in a Hallmark movie. That's how it is. And then you drive 5 minutes and you'll be in like Albany, downtown Albany, and it's like city, but it's still not on the level that something like Houston or Austin or
Yeah.
Dallas. So I'm like, relax. I don't ride a horse to school. Never have done that and never will.
I've never rode a horse before in general, so it's just like those questions. I just used to find it like okay, like
Yeah.
cultural shock is definitely very different. So I did some research, and I found it pretty interesting that you do want to be a sports and entertainment contract lawyer.
Well, that changed.
That
That
changed?
changed. That was they don't up. They say they update those, but they don't. They only update the basketball ones. But anyway, that's besides the point. I want to go into human resources. I am a business management major with a strategic human resource concentration now because in like when I went in, the way Siena's business program is set up, either you can have two concentrations or you can be exploring business, and by like your sophomore, junior, beginning of junior year, you have to be like declared something solidified. So I was exploring, and I was like, I mean, I don't really find anything that's interesting. And then my teammate was like, oh, I'm a management major. I really like it, blah, blah, blah. So I started exploring that with my advisor, and I took a HR class with the best professor at my school, and I fell in love, absolutely fell in love with HR. And HR is everywhere. It's so important. So that's why I was like, guaranteed, well, I'm not going to say guaranteed job, but HR is very important, especially now with being at home, adjusting with COVID, pay, like just there's so many different aspects that human resources, and the fact that I get to deal with people because I'm a big people person. I like when people come to me with their problems, or if I have to fix things and come up with different creative ways to do things. So love HR.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, they maybe they didn't do better on that on updating that kind of page. It made me look a little
Yeah. They make us do these
bad.
forms they make us do these forms before we come back every season. I'd assume they make me put that information in every time that they should be updating it, but I'm a senior now. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Going back into volleyball, what would you say from the very time when you started playing organized volleyball till now? What would you say was your biggest challenge?
Okay, I'm gonna explain it in two ways: being Black and having upper middle class parents.
Okay.
And I say upper like middle class because there were girls that I would play with whose parents were making like 7 figures. And because their parents could write a check to the club, or their child mom was the team mom, or they were always, in the faces of the coaches and staff, it was, well, we'll let her play. Even though you should be playing, we'll let her play. And then obviously, being Black, volleyball is a white dominated sport. Now I feel like a lot more Black minority players are starting to play volleyball, but because it's so expensive, there's that barrier of entry because it is expensive. My dad jokingly like sometimes be like, Dakota, I'm still paying off credit cards from your club. But those are probably the 2 toughest challenges. Kind of having to battle things that you just cannot control. Obviously, I can't step out of my skin, and then obviously I can't say, oh, Mom, Dad, can you just write this check so I can get the playing time that I actually deserve, instead of being put in when, like, oh, we absolutely need you because we know you're going to get the job done. So those would probably be my 2 biggest challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that, and like, it's funny because that is a thing. Like, it's not a myth. I mean, it's not as much as bad right now, but like, it was actually a thing, especially when it comes to like football, volleyball, a lot of this sports that require a lot of equipment and all that kind of things. It was kind of made in a way that, if you're not, making a certain amount of money, because I actually took a class on this, and that's why I know so much, because it explained how it really, favored, one race as opposed to the others.
Yep.
Because, back in the day, obviously, most of the upper class people, most of the richer people were white. It was more dominant. So there was very few minorities who had the opportunity to make so much money. So it's like, okay, in football, if we make the players buy their own equipments, we'll get more white people because most of their families are probably rich and they can afford, the equipments, the paddings, and everything.
Yep. And think of it like this too. Travel teams. If you want to get looked at or you want to be competitive, you're probably going to make the travel team. And with the travel team, that's a whole different beast. You got to pay for hotel, transportation, food. So that's a whole nother just added element of expense and kind of that small fine print. Oh, if you want to be competitive, you have to be on a travel team. And to be on a travel team, you have to have or be able to do you see? So yeah, those probably 2 biggest challenges.
Yeah, that really made sense. And even just like, closing that up, and that's the biggest reason why, back in the day, basketball and stuff like track were like Black man sports, because, it's like, okay, all you have to buy is shoes and that's it.
Yep.
Buy the jersey. With track, just buy some spikes that fit you right, and you can run fast in them. That's it. Basketball, buy some shoes, maybe a basketball, but you don't really need one. So that's why, it became the Black sport, because of, the way the system was made. And, it's changing now, but I mean, we still see it here and there, and there's still a long way to go, definitely.
For sure.
So, speaking on, your personal motivation, what is something, or who are some people that definitely motivate you, not just towards volleyball, but everything you do in life?
Okay. Put me on the spot there.
Oh, look, ain't no pressure.
No, but obviously, God, obviously. first and foremost. But if I could pinpoint, I hate to sound cliche, but it's my parents and then a woman named Isis Smalls. I'll start with Isis first. So you know how I mentioned that my mom started taking me to local high school games?
Yeah.
Isis was a standout at Atascocita High School. Crazy good. Committed to U Chicago, top 3 school in the nation, like brainiac type level, smart. And my mom, after a game, we got in contact with her, and I talked to her after a game, and I'm staring at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be like her. And we exchanged numbers, and my mom would, like, we do lessons together. So I owe a lot of my development physically and mentally because she was a woman of color, a Black woman playing volleyball and going to a predominantly white institution. And seeing her and being where I am now is what I do it for, because, like, you know what, I can't let her down. I want to be just like her. I said that all the time. I said, I want to be like Isis. I want to be like Isis. I want to go to college and play volleyball just like her. From elementary, saying that she was my role model. Literally every step of the way, I was like, I want to be like Isis. I'd wake up in the morning, oh, I'm having a lesson with Isis. Yep, let's go. Pop right out of bed. So definitely her. And obviously my parents. My parents in no way, shape, or form were spoon-fed or had a silver spoon in their mouth when they were kids. My dad especially grew up very poor. My mom, they grew up poor, and seeing where they are now and the different opportunities and experiences and mental, I'm not going to say mental, I'm going to say the stories they've shared with me to help me develop, and obviously the material things that they provided me that they weren't granted as teens and children, is just why I do it as well, because you're supposed to do better than your parents, and I want to do better than my parents so I can pay it forward and say, look, all the money y'all spent, all the time y'all took off of work to accommodate me being where I am today is what I do it for, and I want to say thank you and paying that forward and saying, look, Mom, I got my degree. I did it in 4 years. Now I'll take care of grad school myself. Look, Mom, I got a job because y'all made sacrifices. Sacrifices I don't even know about. Times my parents have probably sacrificed, oh, look, we probably going to have to lay low here money-wise so we can, because Dakota has such and such tournament coming up. So it's things like that that motivate me in wanting to be the best that I can be in everything that I do, and especially in volleyball.
Yeah, that was deep. That makes sense. That makes sense. Parents definitely have to sacrifice a lot, and it's very unfortunate for a lot of parents that make very very little, and their kids probably play, like I said, something like football, and it's just like they see their kids have so much passion for this game, and a lot of times they make so many sacrifices just to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like parents being in motivations for anybody and anything, I don't think it's cliche. I think it's makes complete sense. It's like your parents, because there are people who never had their parents there to support them, stuff like
Yep,
that. So we're just kind of fortunate to have people behind us.
definitely.
Just to close things out. Now, no pressure. Now, I'm not putting you in the spot, but okay. You go on let's say like a trip outside the country. Who are your top 5? You can pick anybody, dead or alive, anybody. Who are the top 5 people you're going with? Choose one.
Oh man, top 5.
Top
Hold on.
5. 5. Only 5. You come with 6, they turn one person around.
Obviously, my sister.
Okay.
She's my shadow, literally my shadow. My first cousin on my mom's side, Tion. My first cousin on my dad's side, who's here with me right now.
Okay.
We were in the middle of watching a movie too. And then my best friend Camry, I grew up with her playing volleyball like We started out, playing tumbleweed. That's what they call kind of like the developmental league. But I'd sleep over her house, like because we live so far. But Camry and then my best friend Diana. So, celebrity edition. I'm bringing Meg.
Okay. How do you
When I
like
tell
it?
you, just bought some of her merch. Like I know every one of her songs. Love Meg. Saw her in concert in Albany. Alicia Keys. When I was young, I learned the piano because I wanted to be like Alicia Keys. I know how to play the piano to this day because of her.
Did you get the zigzag braids too?
Oh, okay. Obviously because you can edit it out, but I have a picture right in our media room with me. My mom's like 7 months pregnant with my sister, braided my hair, Alicia Keys at the Houston Rodeo. We're sitting there with my grandma.
Oh, you're a big fan. Huge fan.
No, yeah. Like, I remember everything. My mom picked me up early. She braided my hair. I was so excited. So, yes, Meg, Alicia, Janae, because I've got Meg as my hype man, Alicia as my kind of vibey, chill one. Same with Janae. Beyonce, period. To H-Town. Look, we got to have the H-Town queens in the building. Obviously, Beyonce. I mean, saying her name alone is just Beyonce. And Ashanti.
All right. Well, thank you so much for, allowing me to interview you. I wish you luck in this last senior year. And everything you do, your career, volleyball, and everything in the future. Thank you very much for hopping on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad that I'm not going to say pioneer because it's episode 13, but I'm glad I get to be in the mix,
Yeah.
because when this blows, I'm like, I was on that podcast.
Yeah. We're going to remember this. But thank you so much. For real.
No problem at all.
All right, guys. Episode 13. It's a wrap. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And if y'all have any debate topics, just let me know. All right, guys. Peace out.